This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 636.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash. 404 error. Page not found. Links aren't working. System is crashing. System is crashing. System is crashing.
Your old HTML website. Barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website. Better than it was before. Better. Stronger.
Faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have 4 next weekend. Starting off with WordCamp Torino, May 8th and 9th. Torino. That was WordCamp Europe. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. I think, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was such a great time. I just have the fondest memories of that event and just being in Italy and all that and the spoons. I mean, if you know, you know. Anyway, okay. Also, WordCamp Leipzig is the 8th and 9th, 2-day camp as well. And the other 2 events are WordPress Developers Day. That's in Serbia, single-day camp, May 9th. And WordPress Campus Connect in Toykyo, Japan, also May 9th. So if you're in those parts of the world, you should make your way to those events. You will learn lots and you'll have a fantastic time, and meet some amazing people in the community. So there you go. All right, moving on. Segment 1, in the news. 2 things here. WordPress Students Club has started building momentum. There's an article over on WordPress.org. I'll link to the show notes. Pretty interesting little article there written by Brett McSherry about the clubs beginning to take shape in a new way to carry the momentum of WordPress Campus Connect beyond the one-time workshops. So check that out. And also a great article, a write-up from Austin Ginder from Anchor.host about GoDaddy and a situation that came up that a domain got transferred to a stranger without any documentation. Great read. It was the drama, if you will, for the last week. Anyway, check it out if you want to read about it. Just it's unfortunate that it happened. I'm optimistic that new protocols and measures will be put in place to fix it, not to have happen again in the future. So there you go. That's it in the news. Yeah, that's it in the news. All right, moving on. Meat and potatoes of this week's episode. This week, I took some time and I met with and interviewed David Stone. And you'll hear that interview right now to come back after that with the tip and tool of the week. All right, here's David. Today, I am joined by David Stone. David has worked at Automatic, and he worked at WooCommerce. Now he is in the midst and has revived an awesome open source project called Multi-Site Ultimate, if I think I said that right. And that's why he's here. We'll talk about that in a second. Welcome to the Kitchen Sink WP podcast, David.
Thank you, Adam. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So as I always start interviews with how I might know the guest, and in this case, I'm pretty sure we have never met in person. I'm pretty sure that's right. And if I'm not mistaken, you reached out to me a couple months back after I did a QA episode about a question that came in regarding WAS, WordPress as a service. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just making sure.
You mentioned my software, and I'm like, oh, I need to reach out about you. So
yeah, because I did some searching on that because I ended up talking about WP Ultimo and where that went and how they're going to. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for those who don't know you, tell us how you got here in this WordPress world of ours.
So I could start back around WordPress 2.0 days. I was making my own blog, like many of us. I was trying to use AdSense and monetize some content I was writing.
Nice.
I wrote, the ones that did best, I had my own, like this is back in college days. I had my own computer repair service. I'd go to people's houses, fix their computers, and then it was a pretty good gig. But I wrote some articles about, how other people could do the same, and that's some of the most popular content was like how to fix Windows XP. It doesn't boot up. And so I'd use AdSense, got a little monetization, but it wasn't like, after college, it wasn't my career path to pursue full-time blogging.
Right.
But that's where I got started.
Right.
Yeah. So WordPress was like always just a blog I had. I did some other client work, some web development work, not always with WordPress. Eventually, after I got laid off, there was an acquisition of the job I was working at, Bankrate. I was let go during there, And then I gave me time to really look for the job I really wanted to have. And Automatic, as you probably know, is a fully remote um, operation. And that's what I really wanted was working from home. Being in Idaho is kind of a not rural location, but it's kind of not in the tech center of Silicon Valley and
Right.
such. So it was I didn't want to leave Idaho. I did consider going to Silicon Valley at one point, and it was just not for me. California was not where I wanted to live. So I wanted to work from home. I wanted to work for a nice company, and Automatic was like the best place to work. And
Cool.
then so once I decided I wanted to work there, like I prepared uh application as best I could and got noticed and they let me in. And
What was your first role there?
I mean the roles they have interesting
Titles.
titles there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was a code wrangler,
Right.
is what they call just the general developers, and they don't have like levels of developer one and two and three and all that. Um, but my first role was working for we had what did they call it? It was I don't remember. It was a WooCommerce team. It was like all the WooCommerce extensions. There's like 20, 30 something extensions we all our small team was in charge of. So that's where I started. Eventually, I stayed on WooCommerce the whole time I was there.
Okay.
Did move to the payments space. So I was doing commerce payments.
Do you know? I mean, you probably do know Caleb.
It sounds
He's a
familiar.
young guy. He came in. He came to Automatic when I think it was acquired. When Woo was acquired, I think is how he rolled into Automatic. Yeah, I remember meeting him at a camp a long time ago. Like interesting. So you stayed as a in the Woo side and as a wrangler the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. So I was doing development work the whole time, working on payments, working on all extensions. The bookings extension was one of the popular ones we worked on, and
Wow.
all that stuff. And Stripe, the payments. We were working on the WooPay uh, product when I was most recently there, which is like the Shop Pay for
Right.
Stripe, or
How
was
long
it
were you there total?
Stripes? I was there like 3 years,
Okay.
about 3 years.
And how long ago was that? When did you end up leaving? Did you leave in the last round of the offer to leave?
No, it was before that. It was like a
Okay.
year before the whole uh trademark
Mm.
fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was like 2021, 2021.
Okay.
I left. Yeah.
So in the midst of COVID, on the high end of the COVID stuff, then you left.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what did you leave to go do?
I went to work at a nonprofit for a while, and I was there about a year. It didn't work out so well. I guess it was a year or two. And but during that time, I saw WP Ultimo. I was thinking of using it as my own for my own projects, so I purchased a lifetime license
Mm-hmm.
and never really got around to setting up, the big network I wanted to until later. Um, but that was when it came on my radar. It was around that time, and then uh, it was most recently, if you're ready to get into it, it was like November 2024 is when I saw that basically the project was being abandoned and well, kind of sad story. The developer, Arindo, was hit by a car accident at some point. This is not, I've never talked to him. This is like hearsay,
Gotcha.
but the rumor is he got hit by a car and he put him out for months and months and months. He had plans of coming back to work on the project, but he hasn't. So around this time, I was looking at uh, using like extending, forking the project,
Right.
and I was talking to the only community it had left, or like online community was a Facebook group,
Right.
and there was talk about what's going on here, what should we do, and some people would come on there like because he, the website was still live and you could still purchase the product,
Mm-hmm.
but there was zero support, zero future development going on, and some people were not happy about that, and they would buy a lifetime license and then
Get
come on
nothing
this
from
group and
that.
be like, this
Yeah.
project is dead. How could I even do this? Um, so there was some frustration there for the users, but so I saw the opportunity and I saw that, there's people that want support, there's people that want more new features. And I mean, the downside is I have to fork the project, I have to get a new name. Fortunately, as you probably know, all plugins for WordPress are open source.
Right.
Even like premium plugins are all open source. You can
Hmm.
always have access to the codes and start over, uh, which is what I did. So that was, when was that? 2025, like mid 2025, I was uh, working on my plugin, doing all the development on GitHub, all the stuff.
Yeah, I read something about it on
Um,
Reddit where I found out about you as well. I think as I saw a
okay.
thread there originally. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell people about it, but the hard part about the whole process is I have no connection to the original. I don't have a mailing list of all the original customers. I
Right.
can't tell them, hey, there's a new project, go update. There's still people using the old plugin, and it still works. It's not like when it went down or when it was abandoned, that everything shut down. It's all self-hosted, except the very first version, like WP Ultimate version 1, which is like 10 years old now, but still people are using it.
Yeah.
It makes like a callback to the WPUltimate.com website, and if it since when it went down, other people are starting to have like timeouts on their own sites. But that's a pretty easy fix to change the code to not
Right.
call home.
Yeah.
Um, but
Interesting.
that's the nature of WordPress software is that, it doesn't require third-party services most of the time.
Yeah. Cool. Interesting. It's historical. It fascinates me just the fact that this happens. I mean, it's unfortunate that he got hit by the car, as we think we hear about. Yeah. I didn't realize that's why it went away. I remember finding out about Ultimo from a friend who had an idea to use it for something, and we would try to tinker on it together, and then life gets busy and messy, and whatever. I have a handful of questions for you in regards to the project. I'm curious, in the realm of business and whatnot, what do you think has changed, if anything? I mean, multi-site, and that's what WP Ultimo and the new version, your version of it, is. It's based on multi-site.
Right.
So it's been around for a
Absolutely.
long time.
Yes.
But adoption always felt kind of niche, right? I mean, so I'm curious to know, has that changed? Is it more viable now in versus 5 or 10 years ago, even?
Well, I mean, the software, WordPress itself, and the support of the multi-site feature has progressed since it was added in like 3.0.
Right.
There was some very janky things it had right at first, especially the way it handled uploads and things like that. And it was like, yeah, there I could go to technical details, but yeah. So it's gotten better, but it hasn't gotten like as far as in a WordPress feature, it's not like a first tier feature like everyone's working on using. If you just look at like the the settings page, I guess the settings page of everything's kind of looks old and outdated, but the
Right.
multi-site settings page looks even more old and outdated than the rest of WordPress settings pages. And so it's like it hasn't got a lot of love from the WordPress core development team.
Right.
But it's still the core features of, using two sites, multiple sites in one installation. It's there. It
Right.
works. It's great.
I remember.
I've always had it like on my own personal network.
Yeah, I remember the
Um,
first time I ever tried multi-site before even Ultimo, in period, before even thinking about that whole potential. I locked myself out because the super admin situation, I got myself stuck in a loop. Luckily, I was running it locally back in the day. I was using desktop server. So it
mhm.
wasn't like on a live server anywhere. It wasn't anything important. I was just testing in multi-site right away, locked myself out. Figured out how to get around that, obviously, but interesting. Uh,
Yeah, even like installing multi-site, like setting it up, activating it, it's
right.
kind of like you have to go into the WP config
Fig
and
file.
add
Yeah.
certain stuff, and you got to do multiple steps that not everyone's going to be technically able to do.
Right.
So in that sense, it's not exposed to every user.
Right. So I'm curious, in your experience and knowledge base, I mean, who should not, or I don't know if it's not, this is the right way to ask this question, but I mean, there's excitement about, people get excited about WordPress as a service, saying I'm going to build this thing and have it be automated and in theory have that recurring, the MRR, the monthly recurring revenue. Is there a, is there someone who shouldn't do this in a sense, or not even say this is not the right solution?
Well, multi-site itself is best fit for the when you're making websites that are very similar to each other.
Real estate
When they all
agents.
have it, yeah,
Yeah.
when they have a similar set of plugins, similar set of themes,
Right.
they don't have to be identical.
Right.
They can be very different, but they got to be at least similar. And but so who it's not for is for those that want to have a large, like, that have a huge site that's like mission critical that you want, the New York Times kind of websites that you want to have the absolute best experience.
Right.
That's going to be a single site. But all the smaller sites that can fit very well together, those are best set for the multi-site.
Interesting. And what about product versus platform? Any tension there? I mean, people think you can use Ultimate Multi-Site, the flexibility of, let's say, a SaaS versus where we're at now, especially now with AI stuff everywhere. Everything, every conversation. And you and I have actually had some emails about the connectivity of 7.0 to come and the
Right.
tools we're using. And I mean, I'm using Codex a lot, which I love. Do you sense any tension in you from your perspective as a developer, as a product owner, in what's to come the rest of this year even?
So like people essentially not using WordPress anymore.
Yeah.
What do you at? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that is. I mean, it's a threat to WordPress. I think there is an opportunity too, with the AI tools. WordPress has kind of fallen behind as far as having its own AI tools. We could talk about that more because I've been working on an AI agent for WordPress that is like, I mean, I started it because there wasn't one that
Right.
I tried all the AI tools that existed. I didn't like any of them. They were all just half baked, I guess,
Yeah.
and they couldn't do everything I wanted to. So I started making a WordPress agent that run inside WordPress that's just like running Codex on your computer, but
Right.
instead it's running in WordPress. They can
Yeah.
do everything in WordPress.
In full
But
disclosure, I tested. I have a copy of it. I tried the first one, didn't work for me. Then you gave me another link. That one did install, but I'm now slightly confused on the process. Maybe after this, we'll do a little screen share. You can walk me through
yeah,
something.
sure.
Yeah. So I want
But
to go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I talked to many of my customers. I do have customers, not a whole lot, but them using Ultimate Multi-Site and them getting set up the way they want to, they struggle just because they want. I guess they're not experts in WordPress yet because a lot of them are just had an idea. They want to start out a service. They want to use this new software, but it's like they don't really know how to use WordPress even to begin with, how to install all the plugins they want, how to set up the themes. And I wanted to make it, you know, more easy for them to have the AI do it for them because it can. Um, Install the themes, install the plugins, set everything up, create the content. So I wanted to help my own customers, so that's why I started this uh, AI agent so they can do it for themselves.
Right. So is multi-site ultimate multi-site? I keep saying the wrong way. Is it free, the core free? And then is it the add-on model for?
Yeah,
It's a,
absolutely.
y-
That's it's different than the original
yeah.
WP Ultima, which was all paid.
Right.
Just everything was paid. It had add-ons, and the core plugin was paid, and it had like different plans you could get. But the new business model is then free for the core product, which is a lot. It's a big plugin. It has a lot of features. You don't need the add-ons to do. I mean, for most sites, don't need any add-ons. But then there is the paid add-ons, and there's a bundle. There's like almost 30 add-ons I have now. You
Wow.
can buy a whole bundle of all of them, or you can get them one a la carte. Most people seem to offer get the a la carte because you don't
Based on what
actually
they
need a lot
need.
of add-ons to
Yeah.
make your site work.
Interesting. So what's the biggest lesson you've taken since like kind of forking the project?
Getting customers, I guess, is the hard part. I mean, I thought, everyone switch over, and that I'd have some customers, but it didn't happen this way. I mean, it's a very slow, gradual process. Um, and it's on .org, WP.org. So getting it on there was more work than I thought it'd be. But they have a review process, especially when you have an older legacy code base. It takes a lot to update to their standards, which was a lot of the development work at first was just updating
Yeah.
the code. Um, but then getting customers is the hard part, and marketing is like half the battle. I mean, development is only a very small portion of running a business, and of course,
So true.
everyone learns this if they ever try to do it. But yeah, marketing,
Sales.
customer relationship, sales, all that is like more than half the business.
Yeah, I was just right before this call. I was actually talking to my friend Marcus, and he and I we go back and forth daily. We have way too many ideas, and it's true. Building the stuff is easier now than ever. The
Right.
ideation, not a problem. I have plenty. I probably have way too many domains. Obviously, that's an ongoing joke people know me for. Um, Building it also not that hard anymore. It's much faster. Even vibe coding a plugin to do certain things, which I've done a few times now, which I love doing. But getting people to pay you for X product or service, that has been the hard part. And especially because my friends and family are not my audience. So it's like, where do you
Oh
spend?
yeah.
You have to spend money in theory for ads, or I guess that's the play. But what's the ROI? You have to look at that as well. Yeah, the business side is hard, you know. And
Yeah,
even with AI, I don't think it's going to change. I think it's still going to be hard.
yeah, it's gonna be harder than ever to, find people that want to pay for your product when they can think about, oh, let me just make it myself.
Yeah,
And there is limits though to the AI tools, and especially a plugin as large as Ultimate Multi-Site is going to be very difficult to start from scratch. And
yeah.
even like plugins like WooCommerce, any e-commerce things, you don't want to rely on AI to generate all that for you.
Yeah. So as a developer on this project, what's your day to day now look like? Like, where do you spend the majority of your time, and how do you plan your days?
Uh, like majority of my time spent on fixing bugs and customer requests. Uh, yeah,
Is it just you on the
like
project all by yourself at this point?
basically, yeah, it's just me. I'm doing it all myself. I mean, it is open source
Hmm.
GitHub community. There has been pull requests from other people. It's not entirely me doing the development. There is a small private group I have, those core users and contributors that we chat with sometimes. So there's other people involved, but nobody else is spending full time. I work on it full time. Um, so I'm just programming all day long, basically. There is a small amount of support requests that come in. I thought at one point I might get an employee to take care of them, but so far they've been is not overwhelming, so I can take care of it. And having connection with the customer with the support is very important to
Yeah.
know where you want your project to go and to see how people are using it and all that. It is a thing it automatic to even do is to have the rotation. Every developer
Hmm.
has to spend like a month or so doing support requests. And
Yep.
I enjoyed doing it when I was a developer. And I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I get to see how people are using the products I'm making.
Yeah. I have two more questions for you. I want to be respectful of time here. Um, from the perspective of, I mean, do you think actually maybe three more questions because I kind of want to go back to the WAS concept, like setting things up, and do you think it's actually? Let me ask you this way: if someone gave you $10,000, 60 days, what's the simplest, if that's even possible, WAS idea someone could do to make money? Do you think is that viable?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'll just tell you one idea I've had that I haven't been able to execute on because I've been busy doing other things. But here's one idea I wanted to use Ultimate Multi-Site to do. There is my community or my parents' neighborhood has a water board where they have a water service. They have a small group of people that are in charge of supplying water to all their customers. This is like a thing that happens in many communities. There's a community well that's maintained by people that pay, the water bill. Anyway, I wanted to make that they've been operating, like a company that's 20 years ago. They have no website, they have nothing for paying online. They have no bill management system at all, except for like QuickBooks and papers, letters. So I wanted to set up using WordPress, they could have the water board could have their own website. People could go and read about the meetings and minutes that they have, financial reports they have, and then also pay their bill online. All the things that, a water company would want to have, but for a small community that can't afford to pay big developer or one of the other billing providers. So basically, it's a billing software that's online bill pay, but it's also run by WordPress.
Okay.
And I kind of started to make this, but it's not something that exists as far as a WooCommerce extension to do metered billing. But so if I had $10,000, this is one possible option someone could use Ultimate Multi-Site for is making a billing like WooCommerce metered billing software that you can resell to all the water boards in the US.
Gotcha. So the angle is build it once, sell it multiple times to the same industry, the same use case, obviously.
Yeah, it's the same niche. It's the same.
Right.
I mean, it could be used for like HOAs too. And
Right.
HOAs collect their monthly fees. They have, and I think it works well for that. I mean, WordPress has lots of like community features that an HOA might want to take advantage of. They could have their own community related to their neighborhood,
Hmm.
and people could make community announcements on it, all that sort of stuff. And like, unlike a traditional billing software that just does billing,
Right.
we could have billing on top of community, on top of all these things,
Right.
just targeting the local community,
Right. Interesting.
HOAs and water boards of the world.
Yeah. I still have an idea. I don't know if you know about it. I've talked about it in the past. It's it's a random photo. It's random DUMB photo. It's stock photography, but it's my angle on stuff. Sold some stuff there, but I had more interest from people when I launched this years ago. It's still there, still live. I haven't really done much with it. I had actual more interest in people wanting to sell photos on the site versus buy mine, which sell their own photos. And that's why I was looking at WP Ultimo originally, because I was thinking I could sell, this package in a box. And I figured out like the model, how I might do it. And now that you have the plugin available again, I may go revisit this later this year. I have other things way ahead of it that are way more important for me to
So,
get done.
so that'd be like a photographer's website that
It
they'd
would
have a
be,
service?
yeah. So you could buy stock. So I could, there's obviously real quick the way to sell it. In theory, I could it would be a setup fee, right?
Right.
But I don't want to take a commission. I want a setup fee and then like a monthly fee. Simple as that. Because I don't want a cut of it. I don't want to deal with payouts. Just boom. But based on different levels, how many photos can you upload per month?
Okay.
So that kind of thing. So that way I get
So
the setup
people
fee.
would go to you, and instead of selling an iStock photo, they could
Right,
sell their own
right. It's just, and it's just,
photography.
it's my angle. It's my, if you look at the site, you'll see what I mean. If anyone goes to random photo, DUMB, so random, then, but the dumb is spelled DUMB photo or photos.com. Both, I have both, I think. It's just I used to be a photographer. So I had this idea, kind of mixed my fun with all the digital assets I had in my phone and my Aperture library back in the day when I was doing stuff with Apple. And, yeah, but people wanted I want to sell my photos. Well, I don't want to have your photos in my library sorting it, but if you had your own storefront, if you will, here you go. Connected to your own Stripe account. I don't need to see any of that stuff, or PayPal. And as long as you own the photos, you prove that you own it, you take the license to that, and nothing of pornography or drugs or anything illicit, sell what you want. Set your own prices.
Yeah, that's exactly what, multi-site is good at doing.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
setting up the same, everyone have their own site, but that does the same thing as everyone else's site.
Right. And my niche is just being that it's random. It's just the random photos that people may want to use, and it's fun. So I still may visit it now that I can do it this way and see if I can't get any buyers. I don't need many, give me a couple dozen,
I might want to point out that the multi-site would have the advantage using multi-site versus like a different tenancy, like WP main, having many separate sites. But if you had it on multi-site, you could create a plugin that would let someone search for every artist's website at the same time.
right? Based on a
So
keyword,
you could
right?
have, yeah, you could have
Yeah.
a keyword search for everyone that has a site. They could search them all at once very easily, if you want to.
Yeah.
That'd be the next extension probably. After
Right.
the first.
And I'm thinking on that case for quick search, maybe use something like Algolia or what's the other one? There's another fast search tool better than built-in WordPress. But there's a couple.
Well, yeah, well, anything built on Elasticsearch is faster. So.
Right. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So cross that bridge when I get there. But yeah, that's what I think
Yeah.
would be interesting to kind of as a case study to see if that works. But again, now that you've forked it and it's available, now we know. I mean, it's definitely something I need to look into. Then of course, what's your take on hosting? Real quick before we go, I have one more question after this one actually. Hosting for multi-site and for this type of service.
Well, I'm glad you asked because I have on my website like a guide for picking hosting. So you could go there, ultimatemultisite.com, and look at the latest articles there. But I looked through all the hosting because Ultimate Multisite has integrations with different hosting providers. There's certain features when you're provisioning a website, you have to talk to your host to do certain things like setting up a domain and getting the SSL certificate set up. So there's a certain amount of integration that has to be there so that someone can just seamlessly purchase a website. Um, so I looked at all the ones that like existed in WP Ultimo, and they're all okay. They all work. They're all about the same. I don't like, I mean, either they're too expensive for like my taste, like, because I see my customers, they're just getting started, they'll buy a big package, and they're just doing like development work for months and months and months and months, and they're paying for this big package that they're not using. But they kind of need the big package if they ever want to scale to 100 or 1,000 sites. You need a pretty premium plan for any of the providers that are there. I like, then there's just one like Clost, CLOSTE
Mm-hmm.
was my go-to for a while, but their support is basically non-existent. If you can't figure it out on your own, you're stuck. But I like them because they're pay as you go. So you might only pay $5 a month while you're getting started, and then once you get more traffic or
Right.
sites, then you pay for the usage. And it's pretty fair. It's built on Google Cloud services, and it
Okay.
works very well. Except support is non-existent. So it's like I don't know if I can recommend this. So this like none of them are perfectly scalable. None of them are perfectly well supported. Or some of them are very expensive. I find WP Engine to be one of the more expensive ones, but it
Yeah.
does work very well. It's very fast. It's
It's
very performant.
managed.
And it's managed. It's got good support, but I find it's like on the high expensive tier.
Yeah.
I mean, GridPane, RunCloud, Cloudways, and they're all good, but
Mileage
they're
will
not
vary
like
based on usage.
they're not like
Yeah.
this. My customers, most of them are not super technical. They don't really know when they get started how big of a server they need. They don't
Right.
know how much space they need. They don't know how much RAM workers they need. So I would say all this to say I am in the process of making my own hosting provider that is going to check all the boxes I like with good support, with a pay-as-you-go model, and so you don't have to choose which size of plan you want. It's just going to scale with your site, so you can
Nice.
start small, automatically move up. So it's not ready yet, but it'll be something. We'll have ultimate multi-site hosting as a product
As an option. Good.
offering
So it's
for my
smart. It's a
hosting.
smart option. It really is. So I approve.
Um, okay, thank you. But the goal of the software is to basically work with any host.
Right.
So any shared, you can start on the $2 a month shared hosting as you're doing development
Yeah.
and move to a bigger plan.
Okay.
It works well with cPanel, everywhere. Everyone uses cPanel, and the
Right.
integration with cPanel is very solid. So if you want somewhere to start, pick any cPanel hosting
Yeah.
and scale up it as you have more traffic. You can
Yeah.
think
I,
about
I
switching.
have an account at Cloudways. I have a very low end server, old Vulture server at Cloudways, which I use for all my dev stuff. And when I need to move it, if it depends on the client, for my old agency stuff, I migrate it off, or I get a different server, or I have a couple of different hosts based on usage. But I pay $16 a month. I have like 38 instances of WordPress on Cloudways. It's way too many for the level that I'm at for that server. I realize that. I've never put anything on there that was mission critical because it's one of the smallest boxes I could get. And I know people spend $200 a month at Cloudways, and it's just fine. Again, but once you go up at Cloudways, you can't go back down.
Yeah, it's harder.
It's
Yeah.
harder. You have to move off of and get a new one, move stuff off of it. So yeah, so it's a good problem to have, I suppose. If you if you need that, it's there. You can justify the cost. So yeah,
The truth is, WordPress is a very simple software.
right,
The basic, until you start adding the big plugins on, you don't need hardly anything. It's
right,
super easy to set up and run, and
yeah,
that's why it's been so popular.
right, yeah. So all right, last question for you. This one it's coming. What are your 3 favorite go-to tools that you kind of live with or can't live without per day?
Well, I want to mention I use PHPStorm for my development,
Oh wow,
and
old school.
it's yeah old school. I mean, it's gotten its own AI tools, but I don't use the AI tools. I'll talk about those tools, but those are a separate topic because they're always changing.
Yeah,
A month from now, they'll probably be different. But I want to mention PHPStorm and XDeBUG because that is one of the things AI cannot do. It does not use something like XDeBUG when it's debugging a problem. XDeBUG is you don't know, it can let you set a breakpoint in your code
Hmm.
so you can see exactly what's going on at a certain point in the code. You can look at the backtrace, all the things that happened before it, and all the data that's currently running in the code. It's just a developer tool, but it's just something AI cannot do. It cannot look set a breakpoint in a debug tool like that. It would do like log statements if it's debugging something, and then go back and look at the log, and it's actually a very tedious and slow process. Of course, it was for a person to do it, but the AI just does it and burns all the tokens at once. But if I really want to dig into a problem, I use XDeBUG.
Okay.
So that's one tool I use. For the AI tools, I'm using OpenCode like for my main development now. I tried all cursors in the Claude code, but I settled on OpenCode with the Claude models
Okay.
for the regular development work. Forgot you're gonna ask for three different things. I guess I could just show.
Well, you have,
Tell-
PHPStorm, XDeBUG, AI, OpenCode. I'll give you one more.
I'll mention my own AI agent for WordPress is what I'm calling it. It lets you set up content on WordPress. It's like working on Cloud Code on your own code, but instead you're working entirely on WordPress.
Nice.
So I do use that when I'm creating a new site and setting up content.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still want to take a look at that. I need to figure out more how I'd use it. And that's the thing. It's just, you're a smart guy. You're super smart. I'm relatively intelligent, and still it takes time to learn stuff. And that's what I think the value we still bring to the table. It's not the tools. It's how to use the tools. And most people outside of the bubble have no idea where to start.
Absolutely, yeah.
So-
There is a like when you were talking about AI taking over our work and stuff. It's like people don't realize, or people that are in developing in WordPress don't realize that everyone else is not using WordPress, not developing all the time.
right.
They don't even use AI for anything.
Right.
Like it's-
In the next 12, 18 months, 24 months, when more people just randomly know the certain terms, they know Codex, so they'll know ChatGPT, they already know that one. When the words become mainstream, then we got a problem. But then things have shifted so much again, so yeah. So
Yeah.
cool. All right. I'm curious, where can people find you? If they want to reach out, learn more about what you're doing, what you're up to, where should people go?
ultimatemultisite.com is the best way to reach me, and going to support, go to ultimatemultisite.com, click on support, click chat on WhatsApp. You can message me directly on WhatsApp.
Sounds good.
That's where I
Awesome.
check in most often.
Yeah. I see you in Slack every now and then. I realize you're on Slack, like in post status, or one of the channels I saw you in there at one point. Just your name was in there. I don't know if you're ever in there, but so.
Well, I'm on the WordPress.org Slack.
That's the one I think I saw. Yeah. So.
On the multi-site channel and all the channels.
Yeah, and I will link to those in the show notes as well for everybody who wants to, if people want to reach out. So, well, Mr. David Stone, I do appreciate your time. Fascinating. I still got to do something with that random photo thing. Multi-site, the ultimate multi-site looks good. I'm gonna have to try this out. So, and then we'll talk more about. Hang on, we'll talk after this goes over.
Okay.
When I hit end, stay on. So people who get the end of this podcast, sorry, you don't get to hear the rest of this. Again, thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Again, it was really cool talking to David. Really cool guy. We talked another half hour after recording the episode about more things AI and his Ultimate Agent WP.ai. I want to mention that as well. That's where you can find him as well. Ultimate Multisite and Ultimate Agent. Just really neat. Just a super smart guy too. So relaxed and calm, but I'm just thinking this guy is really smart when I was talking to him. Anyway. And that takes me to the tip and tool of the week, segment 3, which is his plugin that lets you kind of do vibe coding inside of WordPress. Right now it's called Gratis AI Agent, but I think it's going to get renamed. I put a link to it in the show notes. It's version 1.91 as of this recording, needs WordPress 7.0 RC2, so it's not completely out yet. It's on his GitHub account, and he keeps updating it every few days, he said. So if you're looking to try it out, by all means do that. And I tested it. It's working. It has some hiccups still, of course, but it's still really cool how it's working. So I'm looking forward to doing more with it as it gets more refined. So check that out. That's the tip and tool of the week. All right, I'm going to go wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that SpeakPipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can become a Patreon or buy me a coffee, ways to do that. If you want to sponsor the show, that'd be awesome. There's a form on the website, fill it out. I'll get right back to you. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right. Bye-bye.